All right, you guys. So today we're going to get a very special look at the Ahsoka Tono Padawan Star Wars, the Clone Wars series figure in the Black Series line. Very excited to get this figure. This has been a long time coming for this particular version of Ahsoka. We've received quite a few different iterations of Ahsoka in the Black Series line. And again, like I said, this is probably one of the most anticipated ones. This is her Padawan look, of course. Also the same one that we got to see in the Ahsoka series, but more famously from the Clone Wars. So again, extremely excited to have this figure. Now, what I'm going to say right off the bat here today, guys, is that I did forget to bring my other Ahsokas with me. I'm not in my usual location where I usually film these, where I have my figures readily accessible. And when I went to pick up my necessary figures to go with her, I neglected to pick up my other Ahsoka. So I do apologize. I will not be able to do a comparison for this figure today, but we are going to get a look at this figure, and we're also going to get a very cool diorama. So let's go ahead and get started with looking at the box. So we have your Star Wars, the Black Series logo at the top. We have a illustration of our figure on the front of the box. This is the old style box. Well, she's just now starting to be made available. I had her on pre-order from Entertainment Earth. The estimated arrival time was for December. However, she started showing up at GameStop. I went to my local GameStop today, and there she was sitting right there. So I canceled my pre-order with Entertainment Earth and picked her up from my local GameStop. So here she is today. We're going to get a look. And we also have the Star Wars Clone War banner at the bottom, the Ahsoka Tano name right there, warning label, 4 and up, Hasbro logo. Let's get a look at the side panel of the box. So getting you a look at the side panel of the box, we have our illustration of the figure looking very awesome with the silhouette going up. And then in the background, guys, and I was trying to figure out what that is in the background. I could not recognize what that is in the background. It's got to be one of the missions from Clone Wars, obviously, but I do not recognize that background. So if anybody knows what that background is, please put it in the comments down below. I am so embarrassed. I do not recognize that background right there. But very cool illustration for your Ahsoka Tano Padawan figure for your Black Series line of the box. And then for the back side of your box, again, you have your Black Series logo, the Ahsoka Tano name just underneath that, a small blurb on your figure. She is number 13 in the Clone Wars Black Series line of figures. Of course, you have your banner, your attention information, all of your other readables, and of course, your illustration of your figure off to the side. I apologize for the glare right there, guys. Your blurb for your Ahsoka Tano figure reads, Ahsoka Tano, a young Tayuta, was the Padawan learner of Anakin Skywalker and the hero of the Clone Wars. So, of course, you have a very cool blurb for your Ahsoka Tano Padawan figure for the Black Series line of figures. Very cool stuff there, guys. And then, of course, you guys, we're back around to the front. Now, I greatly apologize for the glare, guys, but of course, we're going to pull her out of the box, get a look at all of her accessories, her detail, and maybe we'll get a look at the articulation. All right, you guys, and right out of the box, I am very impressed with this figure out of the box. I think she looks absolutely great. She is kind of small when you first see her. I'm not used to getting figures that are in the 6-inch line that feel and look as small as she does. But she's always been on the thin side, even in her larger versions of her. I'm a little upset that I don't have my other versions of her. But I am very impressed with her nonetheless. I think she is absolutely awesome looking. I didn't really mess with the articulation too much. I definitely wanted to have her in her signature pose with her reverse style of holding her sabers. And I think she does it fairly decently. The left hand is a little loose when holding it this way. It can be jarred loose very easily. However, again, it is, she can make that pose, and that's, I think that's one important aspect of having this figure. You want to have her in her signature pose. So very cool stuff. I think she's awesome so far, right out of the box, first impressions. But let's get you a closer look at this figure, guys. All right, you guys, so getting you a closer look at your Ahsoka Tono Padawan figure for your Clone Wars Black Series figures. Again, I think she looks awesome. I think the detail to her outfit is very accurate, very nicely detailed. Insignias and the patterns are just where they need to be. The boots. And by the way, this is not the first iteration of this figure that we've received. We've received this actually in the 3 1/4 size Black Series line. I actually have her in that 3 1/4 size Black Series line that they discontinued for some reason. But yeah, I do have her in that particular size and that scale in this particular iteration. But this is the first 6-inch version of her that we received. So very nice, very, very cool stuff. And I think she looks absolutely awesome. Just absolutely awesome. I love the detail to her outfit again, all the way down to the boots and around her tails there. And I forget the name for them, but just looks great. On the back, she has her back out, which is nice. Just very, very nice stuff. She looks absolutely awesome. Her Padawan tail back there that gets taken from her when she is disbarred from the order under false pretenses, but very, very nice stuff. She looks great. And then with your articulation, she's going to give you a straight arm like so. Going to give you an elbow bend that goes up about that far. She's also going to give you the 360 all the way around as well. She's also going to give you an excellent T-pose as well. Very, very nice. You have your twist in the elbow, twist in the wrist, have an up and down hinge in the wrist. Then for your left wrist, it's the same up and down hinge in the left wrist. The widest stance is going to be about that far. She's going to kick out about that far. She gives you a knee high that goes up about that high. She's only going to go back about that far. She has a twist at the thigh. There's also a twist at the knee and the ankle. It's going to go down about that far. She goes up about that far, just a little bit. You do have a little bit of the rocker in the ankle as well. In the torso, she's going to go down about that far, back about that far. She has a decent range, a very good range actually, in the torso. In the head area, she's going to go down about that far, not too far. She's going to look up about that far, not a lot of range there. She's going to turn left about that far, right about that far. And then she also has a little bit of the head nod as well. So you have some good articulation with your Ahsoka Padawan figure, of course, with her tails at the around her head. The articulation is a little troublesome there, particularly on this figure. I think with the larger versions of her, it's not as much of an issue. I think they thinned them out a little bit, but here they're still a little pudgy. They're shorter, so it's a little tougher to get her head around, but you can still get her head around decently enough. So I don't foresee it being a huge issue, but she is a very, very cool, very nice looking. And then for her dual sabers, you have your green sabers. This is the first time that we're getting her with the green sabers as well. So that's very nice, very cool. I think all the other iterations, she has her blue sabers that are gifted to her by Anakin later in the Clone Wars after she comes back from her exile from the Order. But very, very nice look at her previous sabers that Anakin's going to keep for her and change the color on later on, as I had mentioned. But very nice. Then a look at the other side of the sabers as well. Just some very cool stuff. Then of course you have the holes, the peg holes on her belt where you can hang the sabers when they're not in use if you want to pose her in that manner. And they fit in right in, no problem. And they hang on pretty good. They're not falling off. So you're all good there as well. Very, very nice job. So I think they obviously did an awesome job with this figure. Again, this is not their first iteration of this figure. They've done it in the smaller scale. I don't know why it took so long for us to get her in the Black Series line, but we finally got her. And now we can put her with the Clone War armor Anakin that we just got and the Phase 1 Rex that comes with him as well. We can put those together with this figure. So very, very cool stuff. Very glad to have her in my collection. All right, you guys. So we're going to get our figure in a very cool diorama. So please do stay tuned. All right, you guys, and there you have your Ahsoka Tono Black Series Clone Wars figure, Padawan figure. A very, very nice figure. Was a long time coming getting this figure to the Black Series line. We finally got her, and now you can put her with your Anakin Skywalker in the Clone War armor and your Phase 1 Rex. So again, it was a long time coming. I'm very glad to have her in my collection. But guys, let me know what your thoughts are. Have you picked up this figure? Is this a figure that you were greatly anticipating for the Black Series line? Are you happy to have her in your collection? If you have picked her up, let me know. Put those comments down below. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. And of course, guys, from the Father to the Son to the Obi-Wan Force Ghost, may the Force be with you always.